Well, howdy, and welcome to the unfinished journey. We've all got memories that hang on. Maybe you're like me, carrying way too damn many what ifs with you on your journey. For me, there's one in particular, one that lingers. It's quiet until it isn't. I call this memory a ghost. I don't share this story for something folks call closure. Hell, I'm not even sure I believe in that anymore. I tell it because it's still here, and maybe saying it out loud is how I finally set it down. Now, my name's Wally. I figure you know what your name is. Now let's see what Grandpa Wally's got to say today. The Ghost in the Heart, a story 55 years in the making. When does it stop hurting? 55 years ago, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, I was seriously considering jumping off the destroyer I was on and, in the darkness, hoped that no one would notice I was gone. I wanted to be gone like she was gone. I'm marrying someone else. That was her goodbye. There'd been an unspoken promise between us. With her words, I realized how little that unspoken promise was worth. Now I wanted to disappear from the world like she had disappeared from my life. There'd be no fighting to get her back. I was half a world away, and he, whoever he was, would hold her in his arms. That night, on that ship, I knew the ocean was willing to accept me in. She would take me, and she would hold me close. She would feel my pain. She would understand, and, she would make the hurting go away. There may have been a hatch opening and light pouring out. There may have been someone unnoticed lighting a cigarette. I don't recall. 55 years later, I sit here putting my thoughts on a computer screen and wonder why I didn't accept the ocean's invitation. Now, what I do know is that night, a ghost found a home within my heart. The thing is that this kind of ghost doesn't grow old. It only lingers, never far away, always ready to remind. It reminds me of how my heart broke and how it never truly healed. Now, not long ago, that lost love woke me up in the middle of the night. No phone call or text message, rather a feeling that I needed to wake up and think of her. I've never truly forgotten her. She's always been that pesky fly that you want to swap away and never takes the hint you're not interested in them. In a way, that's what thoughts of her have come to be, a nuisance. Thoughts of her will disappear for days, for weeks, then suddenly they're back, swirling around, insisting on my attention. This time it wasn't just a nudging, more of a demand that I pay attention to my computer. Now, a quick search confirmed that the information I had on her whereabouts was still accurate. I'm not sure why I thought I needed to know where she lives now. All I can tell you is that at 3 a.m, it seemed important. I've always figured I know where she lives. A friend tracked her down for me once. I wrote a letter back to her then and included my information, hoping to get something back. When all I got the last time I'd been with her was I'm marrying someone else. Thinking, well, I might get a reply probably didn't make a lot of sense. What I got for reaching out back then was silence. The thought of her saying she was having a good life and hoped I was too shows what a fool I can often be when it comes to people. My thinking that I needed to see if I could reach out to her is a part of who I am. The thing is, I believe that we're all ultimately vibration. I believe we send out vibration all the time, and that there are times when we can project ourselves over vast distances. Whether or not that happened and caused me to wake up, I'll never know. All I can tell you is her name hasn't shown up in the obituaries. And with that, I'll tell you that no one has convinced me the universe doesn't have a sense of humor. Let me prove it to you by this. Now, a twist in the I'm marrying someone else story for you. Unknown to me, she and the gal I would eventually marry would travel back and forth from college together. Today, looking at the near absurdity of it, I think I'd like to say my future wife rode shotgun with who would one day become the ghost in my heart. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Go figure that. When I think about it these days, it's as if the universe decided that one way or another I was never going to completely forget little Miss I'm marrying someone else. When I review my life, the truth is that as much as I once loved that ghost, I now wish I'd never known her. Oh, I think because of her, I found and felt a love that I would never feel again. But also because of that ghost, I would find and feel pain and distrust so deeply that it has never completely gone away. Over the years, I've ended up with a whole lot of bumps, bruises, scrapes, and cuts that I think have pretty much managed to heal themselves. That ghost is the one scar that has never truly healed. Back a few years ago, I drove to Minnesota to visit friends. I decided to visit the town I'd spent my first 18 years in, New Lisbon, Wisconsin. After spending a day there, I got on the interstate and headed north. My route took me through the town where my ghost lives. The thought wasn't new. From the moment I'd decided to travel to Minnesota, I'd known there was the opportunity, likely the only one, to walk up to her front door and knock on it. To say the pull was strong is an understatement. For all I know, seeing her to say hello and goodbye might be the perfect prescription for exercising my ghost. There was no one to talk to about what I should do. So the miles went by, and the exit to lead me to her door grew closer. In the end, my true self showed up. I've always wanted to believe that I'm a strong man, capable of things that might intimidate others. In the final analysis, I know that I'm far less bold than I imagine myself to be. Once, when I lived out a recurring dream I'd had while in the Navy, I drove past the place I'd seen time and time again in my dream. This time I kept driving rather than crashing into the tree as that dream had shown me. As I passed the spot where the dream showed that I'd died, I felt that as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over me. When I kept driving north and not to where I'd knock on that door and say hello to the ghost, I felt the same sensation of ice water being poured over me. Now, there are things in the world that I tell myself I know. There are things in this world that I know I will never know. I don't know what called me back from embracing the ocean that night. I don't know why I was woken in the middle of the night to the thought of someone I try so hard to forget was waking me up. In the end, there is only one thing I know for certain. There will always be a ghost in my heart. I sure hope you hit that like button and subscribe. In the meantime, please be good to others. Be even better to yourself. Drop a pebble for those who know their ghosts. Until next time, happy trails. And never forget, this may be an unfinished journey, but keep it unforgettable.